Okay, hello and welcome to today's session. We're on day 4 of the Apex Trader Funding 25k challenge. We've got the pivot points over here on the CFD chart. We're trading the DAX or the FDAX Minis, and we've also got the 1 hour and the 5-minute order flow. And you've got the depth of market over here. Quick recap. So those who were watching yesterday would have seen that I dropped probably about $400 during the session, and now the account's back up just above the entry price, the entry amount. So what happened yesterday, quick recap, got about 15 minutes before the market opens. So I'll just show you what happened yesterday. So the loss was made here. I was hoping for a rejection of the close gap and the pivot. We didn't really see too much of a rejection. The market powered through. I got out within about 5 pips of this turnaround, but I was sort of too far away for it to be meaningful anyway. So had a loss, put my stop loss in, took the hit. And what I referred to during that session was we're in a triple banding position. Now, what that means is that we've got confluence either side, so top and bottom. We've got the close gap. And what I expected was that we would stay within these triple bands either side. So that happened for the most part of the session. I was watching the market around this point, and as you can see, we really rejected off this confluence. So I bought around a little bit above the low. So I did take a little bit of heat, but it was to be expected. I always seem to get in a little bit early. And that's what these sessions are about. So we're trying to understand what we do right and wrong as traders and improve over time. And basically what happened was the market powered up, got all the way to close gap. I got out, I think on the touch of this mid Bollinger Band line. I saw that connect there and I just got out. I was quite happy with that. Recovered a good portion of the losses from that day, and again, live to fight another day. So we're back here tomorrow on the next day and ready to have another go. So day 4 of the Apex Trader Funding Challenge. We've got 25k. We're $27 in profit. So basically the full target's still to go. And what we've got here, we've got some confluence up high. So we've got the R1 and the breakout long. We're kind of rejecting off that at the moment. So I'm probably looking to go down towards this close gap again. However, I just don't want to get caught in a blind bullish moment where the market just powers up regardless. So we've got to watch that. Ideally, we'll come down and hit that close. But again, I don't want to get in before the market opens, because often that volatility can be enough to sort of wipe a funded account out because of the tight drawdowns. So anybody that's in short, that's great. But unfortunately, because of the tight drawdown requirements on this account, it's not something that I'll be taking on the evaluation. So we'll wait and see what the market brings. This would have been much better had it have opened a few candles back. As you can see up here as well, I'll just zoom in on this order flow here. Now we can see these were probably limit orders for for people effectively selling or getting out of longs. So they either had a take profit, and they're basically getting out of their buy positions. And then you can see an increase in the bid side or the green contracts, meaning that they're probably selling to push the market lower. And this is what I talk about when it comes to the order flow, is you're looking for indications like this, where it's big on one side compared to the rest of the market, or the rest of that candle, I should say. And then you can see the other orders start to take a bit of traction to then move that market. So this is great when you combine the order flow with levels that you're expecting a reaction at. I'll see if I can go back to yesterday's trade as well. Okay, so here is yesterday's trade that I took outside of the live session, which I think was about 300 odd USD. Now we can see here the market pushed down to these levels, had a big order here, which is likely quite a bit of aggressive buying there to take us back. So it doesn't look like it was too much in the way of limit orders on the bid side, but it was aggressive buying, perhaps 40 contracts, and then that pushed the market back the other way for a good period of time, hit the close gap again. Not necessarily a strong target because we did already go through that close gap. Thanks for joining again, guys. As mentioned, I do have a free account to give away for the Apex Trader funding. So that's any size account and any platform. So whether you want to use Tradovate, Rhythmic, or I think the other one is Wealth Charts, you can use any of those. Get active in the comments, guys. Introduce yourself, and I'll be picking the winner towards the end of the session. Got 8 minutes to go. We can see the market is kind of hanging around this confluence, which is excellent. We don't want the market to reject out of market hours because we haven't had a chance to have a go at it. So this is great. If we do push higher, we'll just have to look at the order flow and get a feel for what the market's doing. But while we're inside, in between, I guess, the close, the pivot, and these levels here, the R1 and the CAM long, the breakout long, I'll be looking for rejections with hopefully a target of the close, being wary of any rejections off the pivot before it gets to that close gap. So there's a few things I'll be looking out for in today's session. And of course, you've got that blind buy kind of activity as well. So if we do break through this level, just got to be wary that the market could just carry on long. So as with yesterday's trade, I'm going to try and wait for an indication on the order flow where it kind of gets thin. There's less volume here, so there's 5, 6, 6, 7, 5, and then you get a 40, and it was in conjunction with these levels here where I was looking to get in. So that's that's quite huge. So I'll be looking for this kind of activity on the order flow in line with some of these levels here. So we'll see what happens. Got about 6 minutes to go. I'll just hit that arrow to take me to the current bar. Now I like the look of this to take us short because that's likely limit orders, so passive sellers, they've hit their target, and then we'll hopefully get some aggressive selling to come in. The only issue is we've got 5 minutes till the open, and I don't want to get in until that market sort of gets a bit of volatility out of its system, because the way the trailing drawdown works for the Apex Trader funding as well, it's based off the high watermark of open trades, and yesterday the starting balance was about 25,220 or so. So that means that out of the 1,500 total drawdown max, I've got about 1,300 max drawdown to play with. And that's because of that high watermark. So even though I'm starting at 25k flat, there is that concern or that additional pressure because I've had a slight loss overall from the high watermark, even though I'm in profit. So we've got about 4 minutes to go, really just seeing how this plays out. I'm just going to push this chart back a little. Now, so this is a 5-minute chart on the CFDs. I'm going to take a look at the higher time frames just to see where we're at on a bigger scale. So we've got the monthly here. It's green, but you can kind of see the highs are turning around over the last few candles. Got the lower wick and the lower high so far this month. Almost at the end of the month as well, just to note. So it could mean that we're turning down. Got the weekly. No sort of valid setups that I can see. Nothing of value that I'm interested in just here. We are teetering on these all-time highs though. So I'm not sure if the market will at some point try and take out. There'll be a lot of stops up here, I would say, just above all of these highs. So potentially the market will try and take those out before it comes down, but it may not as well. Just something to be aware of. On the daily, we had a very, I guess, bullish day so far, even though it's pre-market. So whether that will fade or not, I'm not too sure. But it does fit in with our pivot point analysis, where we'll be looking to target that close gap. Good morning. Thanks for joining again. Good to see you back. So that's the daily. We're right on that midline Bollinger Band there too. So could be a rejection off that perhaps. Saw a rejection back here off that midline Bollinger Band on the daily. This candle as well had that too. On the 4 hour, nothing to sort of report back on. 1 hour, very much the same. Ultimately looking at the pivot points. 30-minute, we are outside the upper band on the 30-minute. So we were kind of down near the lower band at the start of the day in pre-market, of course, and we've trekked all the way up to the highs or the upper Bollinger Band. So that's interesting. We've got 1 minute till the open, so I'll just be quick. Also on the 15-minute, we're at the top of that upper Bollinger Band, and the 5-minute. The Bollinger Band matters a little bit less on the 5-minute because it is a smaller time frame. And we've got a minute to go, so I'm just going to 10 seconds. So we've got to be ready here at the open, see if there's any activity that we can understand a little bit more about where the market is going to go. If we get a nice little spike up, that'd be great. But the market's just pushed straight down. I'll just zoom in on this order flow here. Looks like that could be buying. It's just going to probably range in this candle for a little bit, hopefully. For me anyway, I'll be looking for a little push up like that. See if we can get an indication on this 5-minute order flow to allow us to go short. And I'll sell at market there. Just if we do push up higher than this level here, I'll just get straight out. I'm gonna exit there. And just wait for a moment. I want to see something in the order flow to take me in. 8 contracts. It's not huge. Another one. Kind of just watching what actually happens when it opens, because at the moment the market's sort of not heading in a particular direction because it is so high. I am normally, I guess, bullish. That may be us. There's 12 contracts there. I want to see a big limit order on this side to tell us that, okay, we've hit the top. Yeah, so at the moment, often if there is an opportunity to buy, I'm generally a bit more confident in buying. But when it comes to selling, the DAX can just blindly keep heading north. So I really rely on the pivot points and just the general feel of the market each day, which is, probably not how a lot of traders do it. They want to have a defined direction, but then I don't want to be subject to any biases when I see a good trade setup come in. So we're pushing up, waiting for some serious volume to come in to tell us the market might turn around. If it doesn't happen though around this high, I may not trade again today. There's 10 there. Is that going to be enough? It's not huge. That might be selling there on this side. So it's 18 contracts at this level. Let's push through. I'm just going to try and be a bit more patient than I was yesterday with this, and see if the order flow gives me an undeniable reason to get in. Here we go, so there's 19 contracts there, we've got some aggressive selling. I'm not sure if that will be enough, but it definitely looks different as a profile to the rest of what we've seen so far, so I'm just waiting for that to build up a little more. Because obviously if we keep pushing higher, that's not the level we're after. just zoom out on this pivot chart. We're at 24,200 on the CFDs. I'm going to have a go there. See if the market can push down for us. Okay. I'm going to get out there. Okay. Up about $30 there. Obviously with a loss as well, so I think that trade was about $100 odd. Probably could have held it, but I'm always concerned with the DAX that it can just keep powering up blindly. If you're watching along and trying to, I guess, copy what I do, it's probably not the best way to go because the market does shift, and I guess I'm making decisions very quickly when I see certain movements as well. So I mentioned up here, so we've got the 40 contracts either side. So that's obviously, to me, that's a limit order for, I guess, the sell side in effect. So it's not people buying aggressively, it's people selling. Yeah, thank you. And then on the other side, we've got a bit more volume and a bit more activity, indicating that's aggressive selling. So we've got sellers or buyers that have gotten out of the market with a limit order, and then we've got aggressive selling on this side. So people pushing the market down, and it was in conjunction around that level of the previous day's high. So we're anticipating some potential activity up here. We're outside the Bollinger Band on the 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, yeah, up to the 30 minute. And I'll just get back to today. And then what I saw was, I guess, a bit more movement. So we had it building up, and then I started to see over here where I got in, that's the little arrow there. I started to see the market kind of drop and push through these levels a little quicker, a lot less resistance when going down. And you know, just looking for that sort of, that flurry of activity to take us into the market. So often I'll get in too early and then that flurry will come later. So yeah, we got onto that, and it was quite good. Probably could have held it a lot longer, probably about double. But again, while trading live, it's a bit hard to, I guess, communicate what I'm doing at the same time as trade the market and watch for all of these different sort of elements that I'm looking for. As a reminder as well, I have been trading for about 17 years. Not professionally, but it's been a very strong hobby of mine for quite a long time, almost 2 decades. So it does take time. You know, I'm using a range of different things. So I'm using basic indicators. I'm using the pivot points, which are, you know, they change every day. And then also the order flow. So I think in the description of this live video as well, I've put the link into Tradovate, and that's where I learnt, I guess, to read what's going on with the order flow. I bought a book, I think it was about $30, but probably the best $30 I've spent when it comes to trading. You can see here, we've got the bid side building up, possibly a lot of stops getting taken out there, and we're pushing down. So there's not really much in its way right down to the pivot point and the close. Definitely could have held on to that trade. But again, I wasn't really looking for a reason to exit. I was just happy to have a little win, I guess, today. Hi Sylvia, thanks for joining again. Did you get your free account okay yesterday? So we've got 7 contracts here, and then followed by some red side orders, so the ask kind of soaking up some of those buys. It's not a huge amount of orders though, so I'm still hoping that the market does get down towards that pivot, but I'm not in any positions. Starting to build. Perhaps we'll be able to get in on another rejection off the R1 and CAM. Wow, great work. Was that on the DAX or another market? Okay. That's quite a few sell orders there, all coming in at once, a lot heavier. It's not really an ideal position for me to enter at this point. So at the moment, I'm just again looking at the order flow to see what's going on. Let the real traders tell me what's going on. As for, I think the best thing I ever did with my trading, I think, was basically taking a step back and trading on a small amount and using the exact same risk every day in a percentage terms. I used a script on MetaTrader 5 to automatically put in a stop loss at a certain amount. I think it was sort of $5 trades on a $100 account, and just I focused on sticking to the risk management, tracking the actual returns over a quarter, and taking the focus away from the money. And that really helped understand whether, I guess, my actual trading was on point in the analysis. Also writing down what I expected the market to do before the market opened, like I do here. I guess I talk it out with you. So writing that down and then looking back at it after you've traded, because what I found was my analysis was right, but I was making errors or getting in early or not taking trades that were valid, getting out too early, that kind of thing. As I kind of been doing that while live trading as well. So basically that told me that my analysis is on point, but I need to work on my execution and trusting what I believe the market will do. So that may not be true for everyone. It may tell you that you need to work on your analysis more, but at least if it's written, you can't then go back and say, oh, I knew this was going to happen. It's written. You can either tick or cross what actually came through, and it's a lot more definitive in terms of looking back at what you've actually done. And then once you've built up a big record of it, you can actually build up that sort of knowledge bank and trust in your decisions more and more as you go. Also, reading books like the order flow one is massive. Getting as much training as you can, but also knowing that a lot of people on YouTube that talk about tools or this one trick, blah blah blah, it's often just just marketers trying to make some money. So just be wary of people that don't really know the markets, don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes. So yeah, just being really wary of where the information comes from. Another thing as well, probably coding. So coding algorithms, because what you can do with that is backtest algorithmically. So you run a test on the software, it spits out exactly what happens, the results, and you can figure out what indicators actually have true value, and what sort of price movements work versus don't. And you can test a lot more data with data-backed information. So I found that really helpful, even down to, you know, buying on the first day of the month, selling on the last day of the month, across different sort of pairs and that kind of thing, over say 10 years, to see what months perform better, what months perform worse, that kind of thing. So you can do all kinds of things when you learn to code and apply it to the market. And then that helps you manually trade because you have a lot more data in the back of your head. Yeah, with the DAX, it can be, I guess, quite erratic. It's quite volatile. It's a great market, often for a lot of the world because of the time it's open. You know, for those who aren't in the US, the DAX is often a very good market to trade based on time. The spreads are tight. It moves enough to allow traders to make good money. Sometimes, though, it is irrational in a sense that it just continues with a long bias, even when it perhaps shouldn't. Regardless of economics sometimes, regardless of news, regardless of other indices that it tracks, it can simply go long. So it's just something to be aware of when we've got situations like this, and this is why I didn't want to hold for too long. Even though it looks like a good sell on the face of it, I've seen the market just ignore it over and over. So tiny little scalp. I know it wasn't too much profit, but I'd rather take a little bit of profit than sit in a trade and just watch it grind higher and higher all day. Also, guys, if there's anyone, so the two people in the chat have already won a free account with Apex Trader Funding. I do have another 8 free accounts to give away over the next couple of weeks. So jump in the comments, let me know you're there. I'll let you know how you can win that account. So if you want a free account with Apex Trader Funding, it's a free evaluation, free for 1 month. You can jump in, have a go, try and get funded, and you can choose any account size you like. So I think it's 25k up to about 300k. You can have a go on any of the platforms they offer. Just got to jump in the chat and let me know you're keen, and I'll let you know how to claim your prize. As for the order flow, it's kind of hanging around in no man's land. I'm not really sure what's going to happen at the moment because we're not at a key level that I'm aware of. Obviously, we're near the close and pivot from the previous day. But as for today's trading, not looking to get short from here, but I still do expect it to get to that close gap. So as a trader, we either need some buying or selling to come in and show us the way. Trek Lord, have you done sort of much mindset work when it comes to managing risk and that kind of thing as well? That was probably quite big for me, was learning to clear my mind, be calm and patient, even though the market's moving rapidly. You've got money on the table. You might be in sometimes quite big drawdown, but being able to stay calm and just chill out and trust your analysis, that's quite big. So that helped me quite a bit through those sort of year 2 to year 7, for example. That was a big focus of mine. The DAX volatility, it depends where the price is. So it reacts quite strongly to pivot points, and it gets volatile really around the opens. Hi Lara, thanks for joining. I'll type into the chat how to get the free account, and just send me an email. if you just send an email, obviously replace the @ in brackets with the @ symbol. Send me an email, just let me know who you are, and I'll send you through the code so you can go and claim that free prize. Thanks for watching, and yeah, congratulations. I'll send that through to you later tonight. As I mentioned, you can get any size account. It's free for the first month, and you can choose any platform you like. Yeah, so the psychology is probably the biggest part of trading, is managing how you respond to, I guess, losing trades, winning trades, fast-moving markets. We've got some activity here on the order flow around this level, so I'll be watching this quite closely now. If we see a really strong indication to get short, I'll be looking to take that opportunity. Thanks, Lara. I'll reply after this session with your free code. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I guess just writing down your analysis so that no matter what you do with your actual trading, you can go back to your written analysis and figure out, that's looking a bit better. You can always go back to it and trust in what you've said. So be very specific with your writing it down. Tempted to get short here. I may have missed it. Little push higher and I'll get in. I think I'll get in there. Give this a go. If we push up strongly, I'm going to jump out, but I'm hoping this might be a sort of a turning point. If these levels can hold again, that would be really nice. However, we may be looking to go all the way back up to the highs again. Sticking to the plan, it's a tough one because I guess it comes down to having a longer term goal rather than focusing on today. Models and rules, but the trades I take usually have no context and narrative. Okay, so when you place a trade, what I guess the narrative stems from the rules, in essence. So if you're seeing certain conditions on the chart, that would be sort of what you would write, if that makes sense. I'm not sure whether I should be patient here and just let this play out, or if the market's actually going to respond to these levels or not. So I'm just short for one contract. Yeah, so that's often a big one for most traders, because often we're attracted by the money to start learning in the first place. But it does take time, and when you've got, for example, some money pressure, like, oh, okay, I want to buy something on the weekend, or I want to buy this thing next week, it can really affect your decisions, and you can start to see things that don't exist in the market. And that's why I guess prop trading, these evaluations can often have a very negative impact on people's mindset, because you're trying to hit a target, particularly back when it was required that you pass within a month on things like FTMO. it was a real negative impact for a lot of people. It's 15. That's quite large. 25. If that's aggressive buying, I might be in trouble here, but I'm hoping that is a limit order just above these levels to take us back down. So maybe some stops being hunted there, and some people taking profit on their buys. So yeah, often, here we go. Need a bit more of that. I'm just going to put a limit order here, so like a trailing stop almost. So it's for one contract. If the market comes up, it'll close me for about $10 profit, but I'm hoping it'll just continue to fall. It's taken me out there. Got $5, so I had a bit of slippage. Exactly. So I guess early on, you've really got to focus on the process rather than the money. So, for example, one thing that I did was I put in $100, knowing that the outcome of these trades weren't going to give me anything worthwhile, but even on the other side, it wasn't going to hurt me either. And I actually traded far better than I ever had. I just took it slow and steady. I had a script that placed it at 1% risk. So I dragged the script onto the chart and it managed the risk for me. And I ended up doing a lot better than I ever had previously because I took the money part out of it and then, I guess, slowly scaled up with what I was doing. Yeah, with the prop firms, often the targets aren't completely realistic. That's a 63 contracts there, 51 on the 5 minute. I'm very tempted to have another look at this. I'd imagine that's not, because of the way it's all on one price, that's not aggressive buying, I would say. So I'm just looking for another entry short. The way the candles look though, it doesn't look like it's necessarily going to turn around. But we've got kind of stalled here. Just watching to see the activity on the order flow, because that's quite large comparative to everything else. But again, as I mentioned earlier, because of the bullish nature of the DAX, I don't want to get in front of a speeding train that's just going to keep going up. So I've just gone quiet here. I'm just watching the order flow to see what happens. Got the 30-minute candle opening in 40 seconds. So I might jump over to the 30-minute chart to see what that's looking like. It's quite a wick there. And potentially that'll close below the pivots. On the depth of market, if you haven't used these before, if I click on this side where there's orders, that'll take me in. I'm just going to get in quickly here. That'll take me in because there's orders there to fill me. If I click on this side, on the bid side, it'll take me in long. So when I click on the ask side, it takes me short. So there's somebody with limit orders, I think, on this price, and they've put a lot of units in there. So I'm hoping that does hold, particularly because we're around these levels here. Obviously watching for any just ridiculous bullish nature. You can set up your depth of market as well with the P&L against the price, so you can figure out where you might land. So for example, if I get to the bottom of this candle here, 24105, I can see 24105, I can see that would be $490. So you just got to play around with the settings to make that happen. Another thing I like to look for, see how we've got the volume profile on this side. The market is quite happy trading within this volume profile here, but then it drops off above the 214 mark and below the 24,161. So within this sort of range, I'm probably okay to kind of hold. But if I get down maybe a couple more points, I might just jump out and take this profit. So to get out of the trade, I'll go to the bid side because I've got one ask unit in. I'll go to the bid side and click. Now what that's done is taken me out against the contract that existed over here, and I'm now net position of 0. One thing I want to also mention is sometimes if you put an order, like even if it's a stop or a target, it can still remain sitting there if you've gotten out of that position you thought you were in. There might be an order somewhere way up here that you've forgotten about. So I always like to hit exit at market and cancel all. And that clears anything that was on that depth of market. Okay, Sylvia, thanks for watching. Best of luck at the dentist. And yeah, we'll keep chatting about, I guess, the mindset and sticking to the plan over the next few days. I'll come up with some methods to improve that. Best of luck with your trading tonight as well. As you can see, I'm probably going to finish up the session. Lara, I'll message you shortly. But quick recap. So we had 72 contracts, so that's massive compared to all the other volume we saw. And because it was on the ask side, it was all on one price. That told me that that's likely going to be a sell limit. So somebody's put, if price gets to this level, I'm going to sell or exit my buys. See you later, Trek Lord. Thanks for watching again. Much appreciated. So we've got all this volume up here, and that's hopefully going to hold the market where it is and push it lower. And then now we've seen all of this bid side activity come through after that point, pushing the market lower. And that's how we were able to sort of recoup another, I guess, $50 odd in that trade. So even though it wasn't first thing at the open, we were able to make a decision because of that order flow situation. Normally I wouldn't be confident just entering here because we've had this push up higher. So positive day, still below our all-time high watermark of about 220. So we're $100 under that. But that's okay. We'll keep playing it out. Only day 4, and we'll keep trekking towards that full target. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk soon.